From Barbersville to Milton and all over eastern Cabell County, there's a lot going on in the Cabell Midland School District. Our series features the stories of local business owners, difference makers, and events. I'm Brody Nash, and this is Midland Minutes. All right, I'm here at the Reptile House in the Huntington Mall with Andy McKee. If you're looking for them, they are right across from Shoe Carnival in the JCPenney end. And if you're old like me, it's next door to the old Zides Sporting Goods, and this is the old Lane Bryant store here. So how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks for coming out.
No problem.
Appreciate
You got a really cool setup here, and I know it's always changing. You're always making it better, and it's kind of in its infancy still. So just tell us about what you do, what your mission is, and how we can help.
So we started this kind of as a labor of love, just trying to help out animals and educate people about animals when I was still teaching in the classroom. And I teach something called herpetology, which is the study of reptiles and amphibians. And what we had happen was people kept calling and saying, you know, hey, I've got this question about my animal, this question about my animal, and there's not really a whole lot of exotic animal veterinarians around here to answer these questions. Yep. So they kind of go to the education route. We kept getting phone calls about it, and it finally got to the point where we needed to open up somewhere to help out more. And it just ended up growing and growing and growing until finally we decided to actually open up essentially a rescue zoo. All of these are rescued animals that we have here in our zoo here at the mall. So we get them out, we teach with them, we use their rescue story along with the science behind them to teach with, and people really enjoy it. And it's really cool to watch kind of the light bulb kick on with these, not just kids, but like whole families, and even the older generation who came in with the whole, you know, the only good snake is a dead snake mentality will leave here going, oh man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sure, exposing him to it, letting them touch it, probably just relieve some of that fear, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. I think fear is definitely a learned behavior, and people fear what they don't know. So that's what we try to do here, is educate the public about, you know, like I said, their rescue story, which kind of gives them a little bit more personality, and then the science behind it to make people realize they're not really that different than any other living animal. Sure. Just look a little bit different.
Right. And they can bite your arm off, some of them. But
some of them, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, we're going to look at some of those here in a little bit, the alligators and things that you have in here. Brought my kids with me today, too.
Oh, yeah.
You got yours back there, so we're going to let them have a little fun and look at some of these animals.
We'll throw an alligator at them, yeah, that'd be fun.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, one of them will run away, one of them won't care. They're totally different kids. So, and you also, speaking of kids, you also have a traveling, like a van or something that you take around?
Yeah, we've kind of got a traveling menagerie. I've got 3 daughters myself, and one of them is here all the time. She reminds me a lot of me when I was younger. Of course, this all kind of started, my labor, or my love for all of this kind of started with my dad, who started the herpetology program at Huntington High back in 1986.
Oh, wow.
He actually wrote the curriculum for the West Virginia Department of Education that's still used today once Huntington High and Huntington East consolidated. So he started that program in 1996 at the new Huntington High, and it's still taught today even after he's passed away.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
I went to Cabell Midland, and we had a small animal care class.
Yeah,
I think that was more the furry variety, I think.
You there with Steve Beckelheimer? Was he there?
Yep.
So Dad and Steve were real good friends, and I think Harold Ward was also there teaching. He did they did a lot of corn snake things with genetics. They could teach with genetics there. So that's another kind of branch of what we do here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So where does the most of your funding come from?
It's self-funded and through donations right now. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so we don't have any major funding or corporate sponsorships or anything like that. So whatever we don't make with general admission costs and event costs and things like that, it kind of comes out of my own pocket until we get funded. We're looking into a lot of different grants as we grow, and hopefully some other sponsorships and businesses will want to come on board and have a part of the community mission kind of align with their business and things like that. So that's what we're hoping for. But like you said, we're still getting started at this location. We've only been here since March, and we're open on the weekends, but we're bringing in almost 2,000 people every single month just being open on the weekends.
Wow.
We've got almost 10,000 people coming through the mall on the outside, and you got to admit, this kind of catches your eye.
Sure.
So we hope that, as we grow, we get some more businesses come in that want to be a part of our mission as well.
So, I mean, there's only so much room here, and I'm sure you get more animals than you can take care of or take in. So what happens to the ones that you just have too many of them? What do you do?
Right, so we do everything that we can to take in as many animals as we can without it being detrimental to the animal's health. Animal safety is 100% at the forefront of everything that we do. Everything we do is for the animals. Our tagline is actually where education inspires conservation. So from a conservative effort there, we want to make sure that the animals are safe. If we do get an animal that we already have that we teach with, then we'll rehabilitate it and then adopt it back out, just like a regular animal shelter. But we're not a traditional animal shelter, but we are the other no-kill animal shelter in the state of West Virginia. So that's what we do, but we make sure we have a very rigorous vetting process. We make sure that the people know what they're getting into, that they have everything that they need. Most of the time, these animals are coming from a bad situation, so when we rehabilitate them, we want to make sure they're going back to a good situation.
So there is a process for that, an interview
Absolutely.
process and a little bit of training probably that goes along
Application, there's an animal care class they go through, and there's a no questions asked. If this doesn't work out, bring it right back to us, and we'll even give them back their adoption fee. We want to make sure that the animal is where it needs to be, and the people that are bringing in that animal are comfortable with that process as well.
That's cool. So no kill on the reptiles, and occasionally you'll take other things too, right? Not just reptiles.
Right. We've been involved in, as far as rescues go, in the past 2 years, we've been involved in more than 2,000 rescues, either directly or indirectly. So that's 2,000 lives of animals that we have been trying to save. We do bring in other animals, either temporarily or permanently. We just ended up bringing in a pig. So we'll see where old Charlie stays. We did order him a T-shirt, Reptile House T-shirt. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
God, he's cute.
And once you name them, though, they got to stick around, right?
I know. This is very true. It's very true. It's why my kids stick around. But we're big softies with all animals, and we have a great network of other rescues that we work with. We get calls. We've done a pretty good job on our search engine stuff. So when people search animal rescues, we're usually either the first or the second one to pop up. So whether we get a call for rabbits or birds or something like that, we're at least, at minimum, a good information hub on saying, hey, here's who to call, and we have the direct contacts on where to send them to.
Okay.
But we always tell them if they can't get a hold of them, then call us back and we'll try the next route. So we want to be involved in saving as many animals as we can, whether it be a reptile, amphibian, or a mammal.
Okay, so that kind of leads into the other thing we were talking about earlier is he has big aspirations to have a zoo in the area in Cabell County to take in all different types, focus on reptiles, but have different areas across it. So just talk about that for one, and how people can help to if they want to donate.
Yeah, absolutely. So our goal is to actually build a zoo and a 1.5 million gallon aquarium here in our area within the next 5 years. So it's a phased approach. So we're looking into some acreage. We've got our eyes on one that's about 58 acres right now that we could turn into a whole conservation park. Overall, we have plans to do a reptile house, which leads into a science museum, where we talk about what we do already here of how all the different sciences work together. So that kind of leads into different areas of biology, zoology, ecology, geology, even geography with a lot of these things, paleontology. So once you see how all of these different sciences all work together in our biosphere, it's important to be able to showcase that. So that's what the science museum part of it is. And then that will eventually lead into a 1.5 million gallon aquarium. So have you been to Newport? Okay, so Newport Aquarium, wonderful aquarium. It's about 950,000 gallons. So it's about 1.5 times the size of Newport Aquarium for size reference. There's no reason our area can't have something amazing like that here in our area. I'm a lifelong resident of Cabell County. You know, I've seen so many projects be announced and then not happen. This is something that needs to happen. Our community and our region deserves that without having to drive 2 or 3 hours away, even into another state. We do have some zoos that are amazing up towards the northern part of our state. Oglebay Zoo, the good zoo up there, and Brian Hovater's zoo. He's done an amazing job with those up there. But giraffes, monkeys, bears, tigers, I mean, it's great. You know, it's awesome. But to have something that really focuses on different exotics in the reptilian and the amphibian side would be really cool as well. And then we could also gradually increase and build other exhibits. 58 acres, we could do all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
So there's plans for splash parks, playgrounds, shelters, wetlands conservation areas. We really hope that we can work with the DNR to help with our native species and our herpetofauna here, that we can really bring back some of the animals that are either on the watch list or endangered, or even the ones that are kind of overpopulated. We can work on stuff like that as well. But we're on a pathway to what's called a AZA certification through the American Zoological Association. That's what all of the big zoos are accredited right now. So we're working on our pathway to AZA certification. So everything's on the up and up, and we're making sure that everything's done correctly with the animals at the forefront.
Okay. And I assume you have like a website where people can go and donate if they want to.
We do, at wvreptilehouse.com right now, or .org. Either one will take you to that.
Okay.
All donations are tax deductible, and they go right back to the animal here. So it's never been about the money. It's always been a labor of love, and you know, education is definitely the key to all of it.
Okay. Cool. Well, why don't we go grab some of these animals out and check them out and just show a little variety of what you have to offer here, so people can come in and see you here at the mall.
All right, can't wait. Awesome.
Alrighty. Andy went and grabbed this gator out of the box over there, out of the concrete enclosure. And who are we talking to here?
This is Allie. We are very original here. This is Allie the alligator.
Allie the alligator.
To be fair, we thought it was a boy when we first got her in, so it was Al.
Gotcha.
Al E. Gator, and then it was a girl, so it was a real easy transition here.
Gotcha, okay. Your kids obviously helped name these, huh?
100%, yeah. I'm going to blame them, but they didn't.
All right, so what is this? What do we have here exactly?
So Allie is one of our rescued American alligators. This is the same species that is down in Florida and Louisiana and native parts of North America. These guys are living dinosaurs, essentially.
Yeah.
What's really cool about this is not only did we save her from a really bad situation, she was actually kept in like a 55-gallon aquarium and only fed turtle pellets for food her entire life. Anybody that knows anything about alligators, even if you don't know that they don't eat turtle pellets, they eat meat. They're carnivores.
Right.
So when we first got her in, she was extremely underweight. She came from down towards Beckley, and she was extremely underweight. Her growth was stunted and real lethargic. So when we tried to feed her meat, she had no idea what to do.
Wow.
So I ended up having to force feed her rats for about the first month and a half, which was not on my bucket list. But I have most of my fingers left.
That's good.
And now she's doing really well, and honestly, she's super sweet. Now we still treat her.
How old do you think she is?
We think she's about 3.5 years old.
Really?
Yeah, she's still a juvenile, so she'll do this thing called croaking, which is essentially them calling out for their mother. Usually when I do that in shows, people are like, "Oh," so I do it together. Oh, but she still does croak, and they'll grow out of that once they reach into adolescence, or reach out of adolescence into adulthood.
Cool. Well, she's cute.
She's
got some teeth sticking out of her mouth there.
She does. You want to see if we can get her to smile? We can see if we can get her to smile. Here, open up. Say hi. Say hi. Here, open up. There we go.
Yep. All right. Well, show him your forearm there.
Oh, yeah.
The other alligator decided it wanted to take a bite out of him.
So there's a reason we got Allie out and not Jonesy.
Yeah, exactly.
Calm down. So Jonesy, if we can see here, don't get my mic. Let me switch arms here.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
What's up?
There we go. So Jonesy
Stay over
took my right here on the elbow. That's the top part of his mouth, and then down here is the bottom part of his mouth. So he didn't really even bite me. He was just trying to show I'm big and bad, and then he just jumped and launched himself at me with his mouth open. So he didn't even bite me. He just ran into me with his mouth open, and then he just sit there like
Just impaled you.
Yeah.
Like a typical boy, right?
I know, and I just looked at him. I just looked at him like, okay, are we good? Get it out of your system? And he's and I'm like, all right. So he's not the brightest crayon in the box, but we love him. He needs a helmet, but it's okay. But Allie, though, we've worked with a lot, and it's really cool to be able to talk about the different things that she has, because they're honestly one of the perfect predators. These guys have not evolved much in hundreds of millions of years other than just size. So when we talk about prehistoric animals and when we talk about evolution or change over time with these animals, showing a kid basically a dinosaur and then being able to actually pet it and learn about it straight up close is completely invaluable. Sure. As an educator. So it's really cool to be able to teach with her. So we're doing our best to make sure that she knows that I'm the one that brings food and not is food.
You aren't the food.
When she gets full grown, she'll be 9-10 feet, well over 400 pounds. But we'll keep her here. She'll be able to have about 8,000 gallons of aquatic space here to be able to teach with, and people will actually be able to see her right in the window.
That's awesome.
Be pretty cool.
All right, well, we're going to put Allie back in her pen over there and go grab a, what's the next thing we're getting?
I think we're getting Brittany.
The albino something or other.
You'll see why we named her Brittany here in a minute.
But, I get it. You got to be our age to get that one, I think, probably.
True.
So you're going to put him up. We're going to bring the kids out, let them handle the snake this time.
Yeah.
So. All right, Andy got out Brittany out of the cage over there, and we've got Kelsey and Paisley helping out here with it. So this is, tell me what this is again.
So Brittany is an albino Burmese python. These guys are the same species that are currently invasive down in Florida right now. But she is an albino, which means that she doesn't have melanistic pigment inside her body. She was a rescue, just like all of our other animals here. We took her out of a house with 32 other animals. She was in really bad shape when we first got her, so to see her really make a recovery, a full recovery, and to use her as an educational ambassador is it's wonderful every single time we get her out and be able to hang out with her, and really you see the kids' eyes light up whenever we get her. And she's choking you out with love.
She has a tendency to try
with love.
Yeah, exactly.
With love, yes.
Killing me with love.
Absolutely.
So do you have any idea how many in 1,000 are albinos? I'm putting you on the spot here.
So, well, I don't actually, but I do. I do tell people that this is not a naturally occurring genetic mutation here. These animals are bred for the albino.
Oh, okay.
The albino look and the albino gene. If they were, the name of the game with the patterns of all of these different snakes and lizards and any animal is camouflage.
Camouflage, sure. This one's kind of at a disadvantage.
Exactly. So these guys come from Burma, or now Myanmar. So Asian Indian Peninsula, where these guys are normally from. So they're from the grasslands and even some tropical regions. So what's really cool here is you're almost seeing a negative image. So where you're seeing white, it's actually black. And where you're seeing the different shades of yellow are different shades of brown. So in nature, if she was like this, their biggest predator in nature is actually us and other much larger mammals. So she would be picked off like that. Yeah. A lot of people actually eat these, in the Asian culture. There's a lot of meat here. There's a lot of Brittany here. So, so she's definitely bred for, the collections and the private collections. Just not this doesn't normally occur in nature, and if it does, it's a very small anomaly.
So we're back with our final animal here, and this is an African spurred tortoise. He says it's the third largest land turtle in the world. Tortoise.
Yep.
Sorry, tortoise. So what's the difference in a turtle and a tortoise?
So turtles, most people, when you think of turtles, they're of the aquatic or semi-aquatic species. They usually live in water more than they live in land. A lot of turtles will have like our red-eared sliders. They'll have webbed feet, things like that. Tortoises are more along the lines of land dwelling. But we have box turtles here that are native to our area. That is a turtle, but they can spend lots and lots of time in water. And I think that's what kind of differentiates them from a turtle and a tortoise. It could almost go kind of right in the middle with those.
Okay.
But these guys live in the African Sahara. These are the third largest land tortoise species in the entire world. Barney is about 135 pounds. So I am actively losing circulation in my legs.
Speed this along.
Right now. So if I pass out, keep rolling, because that's great. That's great rolls.
Good TV.
It's good TV. But he is only maybe halfway grown right now. He was a rescue from over in Proctorville, Ohio. That's why his shell is kind of pyramided like this. They got him as a hatchling when he was only about that big, and he's only 12 years old. So in 12 years, he grew from that big to this big.
Wow.
And he essentially destroyed their house. So they put him outside and in kind of like a little chicken coop area, and fed him whatever he would eat. These guys have specialized guts where they get 98% of their diet is just grass and hay, and they get all the nutrition that they need to grow this big from just that, because of where they normally live.
Okay, so what does that have to do with the pyramiding here? Why is it like that?
So if they don't get the right type of care, you start to see abnormal growth. I don't know if the camera can see or not, but can you guys see the lines on here? It almost looks like rings of a tree.
Yeah.
So these are growth lines. So what you can see here is the wide growth lines. That shows a lot of growth. But as it got older, this is newer growth. So you start to see abnormal, really, really small lines.
Yeah.
And you start to see abnormal growth. So this is when they probably put it outside and started feeding it the wrong thing just because it has an insatiable diet. So you start to get that abnormal growth. We're hoping, he is only 12 years old, we're hoping now that we've got him back on the right diet and the right care that he'll start to smooth out and he'll have a nice long life.
Cool, very good. All right, man. Well, thanks for all your input today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is really neat what you got going on here. Remember, you can go to their website and check them out. You can come visit them. You're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right now, we're trying our best to get open through the week, but right now we're open Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Okay.
Our times are on our website and on our Facebook and social medias and everything.
Yeah. So always check the website for the current hours, and also, do you do public events out and about too, or is everything private?
No, we travel all over the country teaching principles of herpetology and conservation. So we do birthday parties, we travel to schools, we'll do events, we teach it. Even classes in different universities, things like that. So anywhere that will get our message across, our mission, and will help end up saving more animals, we'll go. We'll go anywhere.
Well, get in touch with Andy if you want to have these folks come to your event, or if you just want to come here and see them at the Huntington Mall. Again, we're right outside JCPenney across from the Shoe Carnival. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.